You know the type, right? That person on your feed who seems to share every single moment. The vacation shots, the gym selfies, that morning cup of coffee. And it's so easy to just roll your eyes and dismiss it. But what if there's something way deeper going on? Let's get into it and really uncover the psychology behind why people post too much.
And this, right here, this idea is the key to the whole thing. It just completely flips the script on how we look at this. What we see as someone screaming, "Look at me," might actually be their way of quietly trying to feel okay. It's got less to do with showing off and a whole lot more to do with self-soothing. So you've got this huge gap, right? On one side, there's our instant reaction, oh, they're just seeking attention. But then on the other side, psychology shows us this much richer, more complicated picture. It's really a search for stability, for connection, and a way to handle what's going on inside. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we're going to move past that simple showing off idea. Then, we'll get into this fascinating need to feel real. After that, we'll look at the search for a stable identity, and finally, how all of this is often just a bridge to plain old human connection. All right, let's jump right into our first big idea. We are officially moving beyond showing off. The real psychological insight here is that this kind of behavior is almost always driven by something much deeper than just vanity. It's about trying to meet a core need, which we're about to unpack.
Okay, next up, this really deep-seated need to simply feel real. I know that might sound a little weird, but in this digital world of ours, our very sense of existence can start to feel, a little shaky. Posting becomes a really powerful tool to just confirm it for ourselves.
And this whole thing is powered by a key psychological concept called external confirmation. You can think of it like the engine driving this behavior. Every single like, every comment, every view, it's all a little piece of social feedback that's telling our brain, yep, you're here, you're being seen, you matter.
Yeah, this lays it out perfectly. Each photo we put out there is kind of like presenting evidence in court. The likes and comments, that's the verdict that says, yes, you exist. See the difference? It's a really subtle but critical shift away from a hunt for attention to a much deeper need for validation.
And this leads us right into our next big idea, this search for stability. And we find it by crafting an identity online. I mean, think about it. Real life is messy, it's unpredictable. But on our social media profiles, we can create a version of ourselves that feels totally consistent and under our control.
And this whole process, this identity construction, usually plays out in 3 steps. First, you curate the image. You pick only the photos that fit the life you want to show. Next, you control the narrative. You write the captions and the stories that frame how people see you. And the end result is this stable, clean, online identity that can feel a whole lot safer than our real messy selves. Now, this can lead to something called externalized self-worth. And you can see it right here. A person's sense of their own value gets tangled up with how other people react to them. That inner confidence, it takes a back seat. Self-worth starts depending on a non-stop drip of likes. And as soon as that slows down, bam! The urge to post something new kicks right back in. And look, it's not just that one thing. There are other drivers too. Sometimes it's just about a quick mood repair. That little dopamine rush from a notification when you're feeling a bit down. Other times, it's this deep fear of being forgotten, a way to fight back against feeling invisible. And of course, there's always social comparison, posting to calm those insecurities about where you stand in the social pecking order.
All right, and this brings us to our last point, and honestly, it might be the most powerful one of all, the search for connection. This goes so far beyond just identity and validation. This taps into one of the most fundamental human needs we have, the need to belong. Because at the root of so much of this behavior, you find one simple, incredibly powerful emotion. It's a feeling that every single one of us experiences, and it's become a huge challenge in our digital world: loneliness. And what's the antidote we're all desperately looking for? Connection. That deep, universal need to feel close to other people, to be a part of something, and to know that we are not in this alone.
So when you think about it, that's what that post really becomes. It's not some grand declaration of a perfect life. More often than not, it's an attempt to build a bridge from that isolating feeling of being lonely to the warmth of social contact, even if that contact is just a simple like.
This quote just nails the whole idea. So the next time you see someone and think they're oversharing, just try to remember this. Psychology is basically inviting us to look right past the surface and see the human being underneath, someone who is just trying to get their emotional needs met in the world we live in today. So, at the end of the day, the big takeaway here isn't just about understanding other people. It's about understanding ourselves too. The next time you're scrolling through your feed, or hey, even when you post something yourself, just ask this question. It might completely change the relationship you have with that little glowing screen in your hand.